Hello, and welcome to the 2024 annual meeting for our volunteers, part of the Florida Lakewatch program. My name is Gretchen Lescord, and I'm the new director of our program. I'm here to welcome you and also to thank you for all the hard work you've done with us. Whether this is your first meeting or you've been with us for decades, our program is made possible by all of your contributions, so thank you. I also want to take this time to better introduce myself to you because we're going to be working together for a while. More specifically, I want to give you an idea of my background and where I'm coming from, some of my research past and some of my expertise, what I see my role as the new director in our program, and highlight some of my research interests and future goals. As many of you know, I'm a newcomer to Florida, moving here from northern ecosystems. Like the Florida founder, Dr. Dan Canfield, the state of Maine holds a special place in my heart. I grew up on the coastline, and it instilled a love of water and all the things that live in it. I moved further north for my education, studying marine biology at Mount Allison University in New Brunswick, Canada. My independent projects looked at marine tidal ecology and aquaculture. I stayed in New Brunswick for my master's degree at the University of New Brunswick, working with Environment Canada to study high Arctic lakes. We looked at limnology and tracked pollution accumulation in their fish. For my PhD, I moved further west to a town called Sudbury, Ontario, just north of Toronto. There, I studied limnology and chemistry, as well as mercury cycling in boreal lakes and rivers, just south of the Hudson Bay. I stayed in that region for my postdoctoral work and later as an environmental scientist with a nonprofit, where I ran a small analytical lab with a great group of students. We developed chemistry methods to better understand the limnology of these systems. If I had to sum up my past work scientifically, I would say there were three key themes: chemistry, ecology, and public health. And my favorite projects are the ones that include elements of all three of those, because they provide us a more in-depth and interdisciplinary understanding of our aquatic ecosystems. A major part of my education and my early career has been analytical chemistry. I got to train and visit some of the most refined analytical labs across the country, and I learned from some really great chemists. I quickly learned that producing some of the highest quality analytical data that I could was one of my favorite parts of my work and one of the best things I could continue to do within my career. Another aspect of my work that I valued was community science. Because I was working in such remote northern locations, I often worked out of small communities. Many of these don't have year-round road access and are only accessible by plane. That means that the local water bodies and the fish that live in them are really important to the community's subsistence. And so my research and my findings had a new level of importance. I worked hard to communicate my research back to these communities and continue to do so today. I came to Florida Lakewatch because it let me do some of my favorite things that were part of my research. That includes looking at lakes and their fish and doing analytical chemistry to better understand them. But the main reason that I moved to Florida Lakewatch was all of you. The program that you've helped develop is nothing short of amazing. We are one of the largest volunteer science programs in the country, and you've helped us build almost 500,000 data points across 37 years and 6,000 sites. Those robust data have gone into novel research papers, student education, and helped us better manage our aquatic ecosystems in Florida and beyond. I am thrilled to be a part of this program, and I'm looking forward to learning all about Florida ecosystems alongside you. I see there are four key components of my directorship. The first is I'm here to support you, our volunteers. This will be largely through supporting this expert staff that you work with on a daily basis, including your regional coordinator and the extension manager, as well as the managers of our data and lab. Second, I'm here to fund and sustainably grow our program. I'm hoping in the years to come, we'll be adding more sites and more samples, as well as more endpoints and different expertise to our research. Third, I'm a teacher and I'm a mentor. I get to teach 2 classes at the University of Florida, and I'm welcoming several graduate students and postdoctoral fellows to the Lakewatch Lab. These students will help me with our fourth objective, which is to conduct novel and cutting-edge research on lakes and rivers in Florida and beyond. The research topics that we'll cover will be variable, some of them familiar to you and some of them new. For example, we'll continue to do work on aquatic chemistry, looking at things like nutrients, and some new endpoints like carbon and sulfate. I'm bringing new expertise around aquatic pollution and aquatic food webs. I model what fish eat and how big they grow, and how that affects accumulation of things like mercury and forever chemicals, also known as PFAS. Some new topics to me include invasive plants and fish. While I've done some work on these individuals in the past, Florida has no shortage of these invasive species and new ones for me to learn about. Additionally, I want to look at harmful algal blooms and the toxins they produce because I know that's a big concern for you, our volunteers, and for the state of Florida more generally. Finally, I want to continue working on citizen and community science. This includes bolstering the role of volunteerism and water research and management programs. Many of these new elements are reflected in our revised and refreshed mission statement, which we've printed and included copies here for you today. You'll see that we've retained many of the core elements of the program that you helped build as well. We have a lot of work to do, to say the least, but I'm lucky to work with the dedicated and expert staff at the Florida Lakewatch program, many of whom you've known for years. I want to thank them for all their hard work and for helping me learn about the program and Florida ecosystems. And I want to thank you for listening. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for all of your work. Enjoy the presentations and the barbecue and the discussions, and I'll talk with you soon.